Hey everyone, so today I am going to be filming a video, or the second video to my eating disorder series, and the reason I wanted to get this one up right this week is because it is officially National Eating Disorder Awareness Week, which runs from February 23rd to March 1st, so that is why I am putting this video out there today. This video is going to focus around how to gain strength to start your road to recovery, and just some facts about eating disorders that people might not know otherwise. If you are new to my channel, you probably wouldn't know this, but I myself struggle from anorexia, so this topic is very personal to me, so please bear with me and don't leave any negative comments, just because that is probably like the worst thing anybody could do, especially with people's health problems. So I just wanted to put that out there. If you are here to learn some tips and personal advice from somebody who has an eating disorder themselves, then please stay tuned. And if this is not your type of video, then please feel free to come back for my next. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and jump right into this video. First off, I'm going to go ahead and share some false facts that people have regarding eating disorders. And I have them written down here on my phone just so I wouldn't forget. But the first fact is that anybody can have an eating disorder. It doesn't matter your weight, your height, your age, your race, your culture at all. Nothing like that matters. It doesn't matter if you're male or female. People usually think that it does run in females, which obviously is the higher majority of them, but there also is a quite moderate amount of males who have it as well. And I think that people need to realize that somebody who is obese could also have an eating disorder. They don't necessarily have to be stick thin or their bones popping through their chest. Anybody can have an eating disorder, and I think the media portrays people with eating disorders to just be literally stick thin like a toothpick, but that isn't the case at all. You would look at me and think that I don't have an eating disorder because I don't look like someone who does, but it's not always what is showing on the outside. Most of the time it is on the inside, and I think that's something that people need to realize, and I think that's probably the biggest false fact people have about eating disorders. And the second thing that I hate when people say this, but honestly I'm guilty of this, and I'm guilty of most of these facts because before I had an eating disorder myself, I used to believe them as well. I used to think that you had to be that stick thin girl to have an eating disorder. But the other thing that follows along with that is that many people nowadays think that eating disorders are a choice, which drives me freaking insane. Yes, I used to believe that eating disorders were the people who went on diets and then just wanted to lose weight really quick so they would just stop eating. But realistically, it is a mental health problem. It is not a choice at all. It is the farthest thing from a choice. This is probably the worst demon, I'm going to call it, that I have had to ever fight in my life. It is worse than the bullies I've dealt with. It is my own bully inside of me. And I don't think that people realize how critically ill some of these people with eating disorders can be. Like, I myself was practically dead. I was on my deathbed. My heart rate was practically gone. I was practically dead, and I don't think that people realize that it isn't a choice. I feel like people don't take the time to realize that people with eating disorders are trying to get better, but this thing that is telling them inside their head that they are worthless and fat and everything is way too strong sometimes to get by. So that is practically why I'm filming this video, because I want to share some tips to help you guys get past that voice inside your head. But I do have one last fact, and that is that eating disorders, unfortunately, it's really hard to say this because it makes me think, it makes me realize how lucky I am to still be here, because eating disorders have the highest mortality rate out of any other mental illness out there. And that's really scary to say because it also says that 1 in 5 people with an eating disorder die. And to think that I've met over 20 people with eating disorders within my hospital stays, and knowing that basically 4 out of those people will probably die one day from their eating disorder is absolutely crazy, and it is very scary, and it makes you kind of realize like how lucky you are to still be here and have been able to start your road to recovery and fight this evil disease. So that is my last fact, and like I said, I am guilty of believing some of these, and I think that's like with any mental health problem or any illness as is, you really don't know what it's like and you don't understand it at all. No matter how hard you try learning or hearing it from somebody, you will never truly understand what it's like until it happens to you yourself, which hopefully never does, because any illness is very, very unfortunate and I don't wish it upon anyone. So I just wanted to get that out there. And now I'm going to go ahead and tell you a little bit more about eating disorders and some tips on how to start gaining some strength to help you with the start of your recovery, or if you're in midway recovery, how to finish that until you're fully recovered. So, first thing I want to say is, how does an eating disorder make you feel? And right here I wrote that an eating disorder makes you feel like you're trapped. It makes you feel like there's no getting out. It makes you feel like you're out of control, alone, worthless, sad, anxious, depressed, and overall you feel like you are trapped in your own body. There is no way of getting out. It's something that is literally in you, and it's absolutely horrible, and it is probably the worst feeling that anybody could probably have. And the thing that really sucks a lot is that sometimes, no matter how much strength you have and how much you try to push past that voice inside your head, sometimes there's really just no getting out, and at the end of the day sometimes you really just do feel like giving up, because you have fought so hard all day that you are literally physically, mentally, and emotionally exhausted, and it's a horrible feeling. And yeah, it's just something that's really hard to deal with. But some tips that I have that have really helped me to finally start my road to recovery. I did share some in my last video, but these are just some more that I have gained over the past couple months and that have really helped me a lot. So the first one is that instead of denying that you have an eating disorder, accept it. And I know that's very scary. It took a long time for me to accept the fact that I was a very sick person. But the sooner you accept it, the quicker you'll get better. And I wish I would have known this before, because I always tried to do the denial. I would say, no, I'm fine, this is just a phase. But really, I didn't realize how sick I was. And when I finally started to tell people what was going on and tell my parents and trust my family and friends and doctors, I knew that in the end that was going to be the best thing for me, and it definitely was. Yes, it's a very scary thing admitting it, but the moment you accept help, the quicker you will get better. And honestly, I think that's the biggest thing. Try to not deny it as hard as it is. Try to push through and accept the fact. Yes, like I said, it is very scary, but it is honestly the best thing you will ever decide to do throughout your whole journey. The next tip I have is to help others. And honestly, I think this is one of the biggest things that have helped me a lot, because helping others, you get to see kind of their happiness, and their happiness also makes you happy, and it makes you feel like you know you're doing something good for someone else, and it just kind of like pulls you away from the whole situation. For a little while you forget everything else that's going on inside your head and you just focus on helping those people. And when you see that you can do a difference for them, it also does a difference for yourself. And I really love helping people. It makes me feel good about myself, which has also helped me to gain some more self-confidence. And it's just really helped me overall a lot. So whether you want to go to your local humane society or your local homeless shelter and just help out for a couple hours, you will honestly probably come out of there smiling, because it will make you feel so good about yourself just knowing that you helped someone or something else, and literally it's the best feeling. So I definitely recommend doing something like that. And then the next thing I have is either journal or draw, or do both. This here is my journal, well, I have many that I've gone through, and this is just my little like sketchbook that my grandpa got me because I do like to draw and I do like to journal. I probably started on the journaling and drawing thing when I was in my hospital admission for the second time. Since I was on bed rest, I couldn't really do anything, and I remember one day I just sat there and all of a sudden got this piece of paper and just started writing down my journey, and I wrote like how I ended up in the place I was. I wrote what led me to being in the hospital, and I also wrote what I hoped would come of me one day, and I hoped that one day I would be fully recovered. And I still have those notes, and looking back on them honestly makes me feel so happy and so good about myself, because at that very moment, sitting in my hospital bed, I thought that there was no getting out. I thought that basically my life was over. I never thought I would get better, and it's been a very, very long journey, and I know that there's people who have struggled with eating disorders for literally decades now, and I know that there's people who are just starting to struggle with an eating disorder. But I really like to journal just because in a couple months you can go back and look on those, and it honestly helps you realize like how far you've come, and it also reminds you like how much strength you have to keep on pushing through this cruel disease. And I don't know, I just really like journaling if I'm having a bad day with my eating disorder, because I still do have those days. I'll just come in my room and sit down and just journal down everything that is bothering me, and I'll also journal down like all of the blessings I've had that day, and just look at that in a couple days. And even from that time that I wrote that, whether it be the night before to the next day, I don't know, I just really feel like it helps me gain a lot of strength and a lot of courage and a lot of hope. So I definitely recommend journaling if that's something that you would be interested in. But if not, then I would definitely recommend just sketching or drawing. Honestly, just grab a piece of paper and draw anything you want. You don't have to be good at drawing, but it's kind of like you're getting out all of your thoughts on paper, and you're just like putting your creativity out there, and for a while it does really help you distract yourself from everything else going on inside of you. And yeah, that's just something that I really like to do as well. And then the last thing that I really like to do is just, well, film YouTube videos. Yeah, that's something that I really like to do. That's just me, myself, but I think I said this in my last video, whether you like photography, gaming, anything, drawing, journaling, reading, going on the computer, baking, cooking, anything, whatever you like to do, do it, because that is going to be the thing that will help you recover the most. Like, because the thing you like to do is the thing that will make you feel best about yourself, because chances are if you like doing it, you're good at it, and that will just give you like the strength. And yeah, that's something that I like to do as well. So my choices obviously is filming YouTube videos. And then I guess the last thing is, if you have pets, play with them. Honestly, your pets are going to be your best friend. Like, I can't even tell you, some days when I'm having a bad day, I'll just come and lay in my bed and my dogs will come in and cuddle with me, and it just makes me feel really good. And I know that might sound crazy since dogs can't talk, nor can cats, nor can any other animal, but for some reason, when I'm with my pets, it almost feels like they're telling me somehow, some way, everything's gonna be okay. And it's really weird, but yeah, I've just always found my pets to be very comforting. It's like they can't judge you because they can't speak, but they are very comforting. Like right now, my little dog Maggie right over here that you guys have saw before is just laying beside me sleeping, and yeah, it just gives you some company. So I think those are probably all the tips I have for this video. Oh wait, no, one more. The tip I forgot that is probably one of the most important things is to surround yourself with the people who love you. So surround yourself with your parents, your family, your friends, your peers, your classmates, your teachers, anybody who cares for you. Surround yourself with them, and then unsurround yourself from all of those mean people. Forget what they have to say, because anything they say is not true, and they just want to see you hurt. And that's really hard to say because it's so like, it sucks that people can be so cruel and that society has done this to some people, but there is going to be people throughout your recovery who are going to try to bring you down, which is absolutely horrendous, and I don't know why anybody would want to do that, but some people do, and I face those people. But if you surround yourself with the people who love you and the people who care about you, those people will not matter at all. So yeah, I think those are all the tips I have for you guys. If any of you ever need someone to talk to, please, please, please feel free to message me. I would love to talk to you and would love to help you gain some more strength for your recovery and your journey. So yeah, once again, that's all I have, and I'll talk to you all soon. Bye guys.